Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Best Foot Forward. We are out and about in the beautiful countryside. You might hear some sheep that kind of proves that this is indeed what we're doing today.
Yeah. Or even sheep have friendships. But...
Even sheep have friendships, which is what we are focusing on today. We're talking about navigating friendships, what friendships are, and particularly thinking about this time in terms of transition and perhaps going to university, leaving old friends behind, thinking about the connections you want to keep, and what friendship means to us and how to navigate the challenges along the way. So without another word, I'm Beth from Confidence Education, and I'm here with Annie, the Walk and Talk therapist. And I think we're going to get going.
Yeah, we love this subject.
Yes.
Because we are friends.
We are friends, yes.
And this subject literally affects everybody. So I know typically the podcast is aimed for that bracket between sort of GCSE A-level, but we could open this wide to anybody, really. And they matter more than we think. In fact, like with most things in life, you notice how valuable something is when it's not there or it's not as smooth as it would be. Yeah. And you only have to think about, and we've all got them probably, those friends that they're our absolute lifeline.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they can stress us out massively if we've misread a message or there's something that isn't quite right. It taps into our insecurities, but they're our lifeline. So you've got this real dilemma sometimes with friendships, which is why we thought it was useful to talk about, because it affects everybody, even to the point where I say is if there's an absence of them.
Yes.
It's still important. So why friendships matter? It's, let's get back to basics. Why do they matter, Beth? What would you say?
I think, well, you said lifeline, and kind of some people in my life are true rocks. When I have been through difficult times, they've been there for me. Mm-hmm. I know that if I turn up on their doorstep looking a complete mess, so give me a hug, they will be there for me, and I can, ask for help and support when things are tough. Also people that you have fun with and that you laugh with.
Yes.
And I think we'll touch on this later, but sometimes when friendships change, that can actually be an indicator that it's kind of not working, because you come away from that meeting going, oh gosh, feeling
how I felt. Yes.
Feeling perhaps more negative than you expected. So I think I love having fun with friends, and friendships from different times in my life as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think there's chapter friends where you might not see them very often, but it might be from a particular school or an activity or a hobby that you don't do anymore, but you're still in touch with that friend. Yeah. Or as we grow, jobs, we can keep friends that way. But friendships are important, most definitely. And how we make sense of them is really quite tricky. If you think even from when we're children, we're always after approval. Yeah, but sometimes we do behaviours that aren't good for us, but we still want that approval. So as we grow through, we're at a point now where we start to recognise, why am I doing what I'm doing? Am I doing it for me? Yes. I suppose, for this friendship. But friendships absolutely matter for all those reasons. You've just said that you have a laugh, you feel good. So that's going to boost your mood. So anybody listening, I would encourage them to think, who is it that makes me laugh? Who are those mood booster friends that I have? Because that improves our mental well-being. Having a bit of texture, a bit of lightness in our life as well. So friendships are good for our mental well-being. They're good for our self-esteem, because all those feel-good chemicals are coming through. But if you had a belly laugh with somebody,
I was just thinking about that. To be fair, that is one of my favourite things in the world. Yeah, and exactly just helps with everything. Yeah. So important to find those people in your life, I think.
But in contrast, when things haven't been good, so the description you gave of maybe knocking on the door in your hour of need, there's a lot that we have to contend with, and sometimes it's uninvited, it happens by surprise, difficult things. Some things we know are coming up, like exams, we know they're coming up, but some things aren't. Yes. So to have those friendships that are strong in your teens, we know it reduces anxiety, because we know the power of talking dilutes that, and it's not all held in. It can help with school performance as well. Yeah. Because we're able to share that a little bit more. I wanted to invite a guest that's not here guest. Yep. So I've asked a certain 13-year-old what his opinion is of why he thinks friendships matter and are important. So whilst he's not here, I wanted to just play that, if that's okay.
Of course.
So here we go. This is the opinion of why friendships are matter and why they're important, but also how to be a good friend. It's just an interesting insight into a young person's view.
I think that having friends is good for you. It's just someone who you can talk to, trust, and have a laugh with, really, and just someone that you know is there for you when you need them. It can be a hard time sometimes if they're not in school, if they're not in work, if they're poorly, if you're worried about them, but that's how it should be. And something that makes you a good friend is if you listen to them. So friendship is a two-way street, so it works both ways. And I think if you're listening and talking, it's very healthy because you're getting the best of both sides.
What a nicely well put
I know.
description from a young person.
Bit of wisdom there.
Well, yeah, wisdom. Wisdom's a good way of looking at it. And he talks about this two-way street that we can forget sometimes. We can either, the imbalance can be there where we listen a lot, which is important, but we still should feel able to return that if we needed to. And shaping friends as we grow through is really important. And if I break it down, it's almost making friends provides a mirror of how we are coming across in the world, if that makes sense. So it shapes how we see ourselves, it shapes how we grow and how we make sense of the world, on how people receive us, and how they choose to be with us as well.
And I think you said about teenage friends and kind of navigating that time in your life. Actually, friends can really shape your identity and some of the choices that you make that then affect your path later on in life. And I've seen that with my students from both sides, with real positive friendships. I've when a student has had some really awful circumstances happen, the people around them have helped them through that. But I've also seen where students who are struggling behaviourally, they are influenced by the people around them, and they act in a more negative manner because of the group of people that they're with, and then find navigating relationships at school, particularly in the classroom, because they have acquired a reputation through the friends that they are hanging out with.
I can see.
They found that very difficult. And I think particularly as a teenager, where you may not feel quite so confident in making changes to your friendship group, actually it can be really difficult to disentangle yourself from those people and that reputation, particularly if you're seeing them every day at school.
I agree. That's a really good point to raise, isn't it? Influence, I mean. The power of influence.
Absolutely.
And a lot of this on a deeper level looks to, and it's not particularly great in our teenage years for all of us, by the way, and that is a sense of security. So to feel secure enough to disentangle would be ideal, but it's not a reality for a lot of people because that's their normal. But really hard to get some distance with that. And friendships can come in different types. Let's talk about different types. So we know why it's important to us. We heard from somebody from their day-to-day live experience, but we know as maturer people how important they are. But the types of friendships, and I think I did want this to be part of our discussion, just to open up the concept that it's not just best friend or no friend. We have got that middle place, and it's okay to have different types of friends. So we've got friends that you do hobbies with, so you could call those sort of activity friends. You see them at that event, you wish them no harm, you get on well, but other than that, there's no need to interact outside of that because you know where that line is. It's an invisible line. Clearly you've got your best friends as well. So your best friends, you've got your activity friends. There's online friends as well, a very current thing for me to say really, of gaming. So there's those type of interactions that when people are listening to this, they would think of people. Are they good? Are they bad for me? Is that an online friend, acquaintance? And the last one I think I would add to that, and it'd be interesting to know if there's any others that you can think of, Beth, is a situational friend. So somebody you see just for that time. So it may be in schools that there are adult roles there that would be seen as friends, pastoral care, for example. But then after school, no more, but that's okay. But at that time, they were a really good sense of support for all those reasons that we had before. So best friend, situational, activity. Is there any other type of friend that you can think of? Well, we covered all the
I
various
think that's
ones?
covered the various ones. I think something that I see is if a young person has struggled perhaps with friendship groups at school, maybe because of certain challenges they're facing, maybe medical challenges, for example, or a feeling of difference for whatever reason to do with their inclusion, then sometimes they have actually deeper friendships outside of school. And that may be an online community.
Yes.
Obviously, would hope that would be a safe,
healthy
online community, and friendship from that. But also through clubs, or if they're doing volunteering,
or
and
jobs,
so
day jobs.
Yeah, so I think there's often this feeling that school is where you have your closest friends, but sometimes that isn't right, particularly for younger students that are maybe at a much smaller school. That can be difficult.
Yeah,
and so I guess recognizing that it is okay and really quite normal to have those different types of friends.
Yes.
You don't have to have your best friends at school.
No.
As long as you're getting that sense of belonging, friendship, compassion and care from a group of people or a person, actually it doesn't matter where they fall in your life.
And I'd add respect onto that.
Yes, absolutely.
To feel that. And if the ingredients for a cake, like a friendship cake, what would those ingredients be? There'd be all of those things that you've said. And I would just add that a sense of connection and trust.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Really is all that would qualify. So if you are either at your activity or you're at your school or you're on your online arena, whatever setting it is that you would describe the friendship, to a lesser or greater degree of that, there would need to be a feeling that I trust this person to treat me well.
Yeah.
But also I feel a connection, so there's some common ground of some sorts.
Yes.
And therefore we connect, because with a lack of connection we feel lonely, and lonely is a far more troublesome feeling to have.
And I think that particularly with sort of more long-term friendships, if that trust is then broken,
that's tricky. Yeah,
that's really hard, because sometimes there is a sense of almost duty to that person because you've known them for a long time. And then if they have done something that hurts you, or if you don't feel that connectedness, if they're distancing yourself, that's a really, really tricky thing to kind of come to terms with sometimes. And that sort of change in dynamic. Sometimes it readdresses itself and that person comes back and it's fine.
Yeah.
But sometimes moving on from that relationship is actually really difficult. Again, I think, particularly in teenage years, when you're younger, that's a hard thing to recognise and then to take action to kind of change the situation.
Or change how you see it.
Or change perception.
Because people change, and I would encourage people to not always inwardly reflect that it was something they've done, or because that breeds anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or insecurity of, it must have been me. And what have I done? I must change who I am.
Yeah.
That feels less healthy than looking at it objectively. They may find that is accurate, and there is a place where you have actually done something to upset somebody, where there's then space to apologise and repair the rupture. But if there isn't, accepting that people change who they want to be friends with.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard but true, isn't it?
It is hard, even at, let's say, our age, even as you're older.
Yeah.
Even as you're older.
And I guess it's about putting yourself out there and to be open to new friendships. And as Annie said, there are lots of different places where you can find those friendships. So if there is one particular friend or friendship group that is not giving you that connectedness and trust and care that you're looking for, and respect that you're looking for, then opening yourself up to other opportunities to meet people and develop friendships that will hopefully give you those things. That's also really healthy. The shift and change is okay.
It is okay. We're going to move on in a minute to when friendships get hard, and that you've described one there. It feels as if you imagine my arms are sort of open wide to like a line of a continuum. So this is life. And it's a bit bumpy when it comes to friends as we're younger and we're older. Even if you think about preschoolers and toddlers, that's really tricky. It's really selfish behaviour with that, and difficulty, and there's a lot of high emotions. And as we evolve and we get into young adults, we're trying to make sense of it, but we're bridging two types. We're not quite sure what we should do, but we think we should do this or that and the other, because approval from peers is really important. But then as you come towards the end of the line, not the end of the line, but further along the line, that sounds terrible. As you grow, you start to sift out what you definitely do and what you definitely don't want when it comes to friendships. And have a little bit more robustness about being able to say so.
Yeah.
So it's a journey.
And I think as well, it's also about time, because you only have so many hours in the day. You only have, you know, if you're at school for however many hours, or at university for however many hours, or work for however many hours.
Yeah, it's not long.
Actually, when you break down the time that you can spend socializing, you will more than likely find you only have space for a certain number of groups or individuals. And so then that identification of those people that give you all the attributes we've talked already, you know, trust, respect, care, love, all those things, thinking about who that is in your life and putting your energy and time into those relationships,
into the right place. Yeah,
that's really important too.
And that's what the snippet that we played was about. Two-way street. About,
yes,
it'd be really wrong, wouldn't it, to sit there and expect friends to come to you.
Yeah,
we have to be investing as well.
Yeah,
but as you say, choosing where you put that.
Yeah.
So what about when things get hard then, about conflict and feeling left out, and those, they're really very normal things to feel.
Yeah. Particularly when friendship groups shift, you know, new people joining, people leaving. I've got an example from years ago now, with some A-level students that I used to teach. And there were two lads who were really close friends all the way through school. They went to university in a very similar place, so they could stay in contact. And I caught up with one of them a couple of months into university, and he just said, I haven't heard from this person since we moved. And he was actually really quite sad about it. And I mean, this was quite a long time ago now. I'm sure that he will have found other friends and other places to belong since then. But I remember the kind of the rawness for him about how much that hurt, because his friend had changed and moved on, and actually he'd expected that friendship to stay the same.
And
so
a bit of grief, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, actually, I think that's really true. Yeah,
you know,
he was grieving that friendship.
We can lose friendships, and we can lose situational contentment as much as we can lose a person.
Yes.
So grief is a wide subject, really.
Yeah, and I suppose if you still would like to keep that friendship, and I know this is what we're kind of moving into, and you feel that conversation is necessary, then it's how do you go about talking to someone about how you're feeling in this situation?
It's important to do it.
It is,
even if it's a bit clumsy or clunky.
Yeah,
sitting with it is not the better option. But if we're talking about friendships getting difficult, I want to just split, because I think it's useful, between healthy conflict, because we can all have a difference of opinion. Doesn't mean we have to fall out and not be friends anymore. It's a healthy conflict versus red flags. And we can lump those together sometimes, and it can be a bit confusing. So red flags for me, if I was going to be prescriptive, would be friends that maybe put you down a lot, or under the disguise of jokes. Under the disguise of jokes, putting you down a lot, and it just doesn't make you feel great. If we loop back to the start of the podcast, we said the benefits of having friends is I feel good about myself. So why would I want that? So if you recognise that, put downs or jokes about you, or that you come away, as you said earlier, I just don't feel very good after that, you know, feel bad or feel anxious. Or what about another red flag for me would be friends that only talk to you when it's convenient for them. Or there is something that they want out of what you can offer.
Yes, not being a two-way relationship.
Being that way inclined. And I sometimes liken it to food. I think that's always a good place to go. If you were to eat something and it made you feel bad afterwards, you'd probably think, I don't really want to eat that again. That made me feel really unwell, or I felt really sick or tired or bloated, whatever food. Very similar with friends or people. Why would I go back and repeat an experience that I know made me feel unwell or bad? I'm taking the parallels of that. I want to eat something, or I want to meet with someone or be with friends that I feel really good with afterwards. So if it was the most delicious pizza ever, I want more of that. So that's the person I want to go back to, your pizza friends, versus maybe something that you don't like. And I don't know what food you don't like, Beth, so I don't know what to use as an example, but it's a really good one to explain with children of, you know, if you ate, I don't know, what do children not like?
Brussels sprouts.
Okay, so if you ate that Brussels sprout and you didn't like it, why would you go back and eat something that you didn't like? It wasn't a nice experience. So if you liken that to your friendships, it's a good parallel to talk to children about. So yeah, those would be my red flags.
Yeah, and I think if you're feeling like they're trying to control you as well,
Yeah.
I've talked to
do things you don't want to do. You mean?
Yes. And not listening maybe to your point of view or collaborating over things.
Yes.
I think that's important as well. So if you're feeling like that, Annie, have you got some tips about what to do?
Which bit?
If you're feeling that a friendship is going wrong.
Yes.
And you're it's not a two-way relationship.
So it's not feeling good.
It's not feeling good. It's the Brussels sprout, not the pizza.
I've got a Brussels sprout friendship on my hands. First of all, I would choose an adult that I could speak to just as a sounding board, just to say, this is what I think, this is how I feel. What is a sounding board? Do you think I've got it right? Do you think, what are your thoughts on it? Just as a first step.
Yeah.
Because I would ultimately encourage the conversation to happen with the person as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of this comes down to recognising, because if somebody's thinking those things, I would suspect they're starting to be aware of their own boundaries.
Yeah.
Of, you've crossed a line and you haven't treated me well or with respect. So I think that's amazing if someone's starting to think this isn't good. I applaud it. It, because otherwise we become a nation of people pleasers that accept everybody to treat us the way that suits everybody else. So first of all, speak to somebody just to get off your chest and say, this is, whether that be a parent, whether that be a trusted adult, just to say, I'm feeling a bit flat about this Brussels sprout that I've got, and I don't know quite what to do. And they may give you some guidance. I would hope that would shape along the lines of, okay, I think it's worth speaking to the person, because I would certainly advocate that. I then would suggest getting a pen and paper and just jotting down what those particular reasons are, because not that you're going to go and give that to the friend, but I think it clarifies in your own head and cements what your concerns are. Yeah. And then at that point, it's an opportunity, isn't it, to find the right time just to say, I wondered if you got a bit of time. I just feel a bit, over the last few weeks, things have been a bit different with us, and see how it goes from there. Their response will tell you everything about the value of that friendship.
Yeah.
It really will.
Yeah.
And I know it takes guts to do that. I know it does. I would avoid texting those sorts of things personally, because they can get lost, misconstrued, shared, and the internet or social media, texting, everything, you've lost control of it once you put it out there. And I think you need to be in control of this.
Yeah.
And sadly, sometimes we just have to let go of a friendship if it's not right for us.
Yeah.
So, but it's really a comfort to know we've tried everything we can. So step by step, share it with a trusted adult, document what's in your mind, and that's just a offloading exercise. That's just for all of us, by the way, if we feel anything, just to pop it on paper, and then think when's best to speak to them. Ultimately, sometimes we don't have to speak to people, we just behave differently.
Yeah.
So you don't have to say something different, you can do something different, and again, you'll get information about the value of that friendship to the other person just on that. Yeah.
And if they want to then put effort into that relationship and rekindle it, the ball is in their court.
Correct. And I've seen that happen, and I've done that myself, where you notice somebody's dropping away, so you pull back on your investment and it's not matched. And so actually we haven't had that conversation, but we didn't need to, because it was all said with actions. But there was no malice, no unkindness, there's no need for that. What we're trying to do with friendships is fathom out in a kind way, a compassionate way, trying to filter through who the Brussels sprouts are and who the pizzas are, if you like, and who makes you feel good and who maybe doesn't.
I think that's really, really sound advice.
I hope so. I know it's a big subject. It's a big subject. And I suppose what we're saying here is that friendships aren't always hearts and emojis and unicorns. Sometimes they're messy. They're group chats, are a topic as well. Sometimes it's a silent treatment. So I get that it's turbulent. So it's just working your way through it.
Yeah, and where to invest your energy in terms of positive relationships and people that help you to feel good about yourself.
Yeah, and who's there? Who turns up?
Yeah, who turns up? I love that.
Who turns up?
Yeah.
But also, who do you tell first when you've got something good to say?
Yeah.
That's really indicative. That indicates a good friendship. And we don't need many. I don't think we've even said that yet already. No. Let's talk about quality, not quantity. I know we're in a world of numbers, so how many followers you've got, influencers, how many posts, size of clothing, who knows? There's numbers everywhere. Let's ditch that and just say it just doesn't matter. One good friend would be spot on.
Yeah.
Spot on. So what about some practical takeaways? Shall we round
I
off
think that's
just
a good idea.
A couple of practical takeaways. So try and think, I would suggest, in terms of tapping into your friendship sort of area, of one way that maybe you could think you could be a better friend this coming week.
Yeah.
So that might be sending an extra message that you wouldn't normally have sent from somebody you haven't heard from for a while. It might be, I know you're in a shop and you see a particular chocolate bar that your friend likes. Do you know what? I'm going to get that for them because I'm going to see them tomorrow at school. I wouldn't normally, but they mean a lot to me, so I'm just going to buy them something thoughtful to them. So just one little act that you might think would make a better friend from you. The other one I thought is also a similar vein, but think of one way that you can check in with yourself about your friendships this week. And that goes back to the red flags versus conflict versus who makes me feel good. So if you have a quiet moment this next week with a cup of tea, or you're sitting on the sofa, just having to think through, who have I got in my life? And yeah, actually you might think, I've got it spot on. I've got a really good group around me. You might have that reflection and think, pretty much we're okay, but actually the last time I saw that person, I didn't feel that great when I left. So just sculpt and put aside some time to just reflect on the quality of who you've got there. And my third and last one would be, try and think of a sentence to try out if you do need to talk to somebody about a difficult thing. So we talked about that. So if you're able to have something rehearsed as a simple sentence that might be, I alluded to it earlier, of have you got 5 minutes for a walk? I feel things are a bit different over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Just something casual.
Yeah.
We don't want to have that feeling that we're being called to the headmaster's office and say, can I have a word? No, that's not good. But just something casual. Do you fancy a walk? Do you fancy doing this together? Because I just want to talk to you about a few things. So whatever suits you, but have that sentence lined up. It might be useful in a time of difficulty in the forthcoming. So yes, one way to be a better friend, one way to check in with yourself about who's your friends, and last of all, try and sculpt a sentence that you can have up your sleeve if you wanted to do that difficult conversation. So there's 3 things just there really. But yeah, friendships, and we should be grateful for the ones we've got.
Absolutely. And it's a two-way. Thank you to our wonderful guests. It's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
The more you put in, hopefully the more you get out. And if you don't, you've got some really practical tips there for readdressing the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, no, really important subject for everybody.
Yeah.
Young and old.
So we've been thinking about what to do next, and we are going to be talking about getting into your groove.
Yeah, with some healthy habits.
Healthy habits, looking to the future, thinking about aspiration, motivation. It's going to be a good one.
Meaning as well, what you want. So,
yes.
Because that should coincide with the start of the new academic year.
Yep.
And a lot of people, we talk about new starts, don't we? So without calling it that, we're going to talk about how do I get into my groove with my new schedule, my new routine.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that'll be episode 12.
Oh gosh, crikey, it is. Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, well, thank you very much, Beth, and thank you, Sheep.
Thank you, Sheep. They have been an excellent part of today's podcast.
They've gone away now, we've finished. It's typical. And you are my friend, so thank you very much.
And you are my friend too.
Thank you.
Right, see you.
See you soon.
Bye.